Elegant family, welcome again to another episode on the Winners Club Elegance channel. As always, I have another valuable and interesting episode for you all. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 11 things that may be making you sick, keeping you down, and preventing you from enjoying your excellent and your elegant life. Let's get right into it, shall we? As elegant people who have decided to make excellence not just a watchword but an action guide to live by, it is important that ever so often we're performing what I call personal or regular check-ins with yourself so that you can look inward and see some of the things that may be hampering with your growth and maybe preventing you from actually living a true, elegant, and an excellent life. Sometimes when you are able to lay your hands on certain things, you will figure out that it's not the physical things that make you sick. Sometimes it's the emotional things, it's the mental things, and even the spiritual things. So in today's video, I'm just pretty much going to be sharing with you certain things that you think are not having an impact or an effect on your life, but I tell you, they're very detrimental to your growth and to your mindset and to your overall health as an individual. As we proceed, you would understand exactly what I mean. So let's get right into it, shall we? So the very first point that I've put down here that is something that may be making you physically, spiritually, mentally sick is keeping malice against others. People think that keeping malice is just not talking to someone or avoiding someone or not being friends with someone. It will interest you to know that malice is the intent to harm others, whether physically, emotionally, mentally, or socially, and also feeling the need to see them suffer or be negatively impacted by circumstances. In my opinion, this is very low vibration, especially for someone who has chosen excellence and elegance as a lifestyle. You have no business bearing this kind of grudge or this kind of intention towards anybody, whether they are your friends, whether they are your enemies, whatever it is that they have done to you. Now, to be very honest, it's easier said than done, right? I get it. Someone may have hurt you in ways that hurt you so badly and did you a great injustice, and some maybe did something to you that probably cost you so much. And it's very hard. It's very, very hard to overlook such things. I've been there and I'm talking from a place of experience. I've been hurt a couple of times by people. So I totally get it that someone may have done that to you. But as an excellent, elegant person, I want to challenge you today. And my challenge to you is this. I want to simply remind you that you are light. And in you, there is no darkness at all. Keeping malice or being hateful towards someone else is something that should not be found in light. It's not a characteristic or the nature of someone who has chosen to live an excellent lifestyle. The excellent lifestyle that you have chosen to live is a life that you have to actually continue to live, whether it's convenient for you or not. I always say that excellence is actually one of the nature of God. And think about it. Does God keep or bear grudges against us people? Now imagine, for example, you are the one who did something so grievous and so bad, that's so bad against God's standard, and you think that God is bearing a grudge against you. How do you think that would make you feel if you think God is bearing a grudge against you, or you go to God and God is saying, no, I want to hurt you, I want to be malicious towards you? So if you say you have chosen that excellent life that is a godly standard, then it must mean that you should be able to extend and accord someone else the same grace when they have fallen short of your glory or when they have done something that has hurt you. Again, like I said, it's easier said than done. But if you remember who you are, that you are light, someone with an excellent spirit and the nature of God, then it should be easy for you to let down the weight of any hurt or any wrong anyone has done to you and leave the vengeance for God. Okay, to buttress my point even further, I'm going to read a portion of the scripture really quickly that usually helps me just turn the other eye when someone has done something wrong to me. I just realize, oh, they didn't do it to me. They did it to God, and let them just go face God. This scripture definitely helps me a lot. So it's a scripture in Matthew 5, verses 41 to 48. And I'm reading from the Message translation. It says, you are familiar with the old written law, love your friend and its unwitting companion hates your enemy. I'm challenging that. I'm telling you to love your enemies. That's the Bible, not me. Let them bring out the best in you, not the worst. When someone gives you a hard time, respond with the supple moves of prayer, for then you are working out of your true selves, your God created selves. This is what God does. He gives his best. Listen to this. This is what God does. He gives his best, the sun to warm and the rain to nourish to everyone, regardless. He gives it to the good and the bad. He gives it to the nice and the nasty. Think about it. In this great world, the sun shines on both the godly and the ungodly. That's your God. If all you do is love the lovable, do you expect a reward? Do you expect a bonus? Anybody can do that. If you simply say hello to those who greet you, do you expect a medal? Any run of the mill sinner does that. In a word, what I'm saying is grow up. Grow up. It's the Bible, not me. I think it's even the words of Jesus, right? So the Bible was pretty much saying, if you are only loving those who love you, anybody can do that. The real task, the real test, the real challenge is when you are able to love those who hate you. The real test is when you're able to love your enemies. So when someone does anything negative or bad to you that is really hurtful, I think you should let them go and leave them to God. And I tell you something, keeping malice against someone else or bearing a grudge against someone else is a weight that is too heavy for you to carry, and it will slow you down on your life journey. It's making you sick. It's distracting you from your life's purpose because a large chunk of your mind is preoccupied with the evil things you want this person to experience, the hurts you want this person to have. Free up that part of your mind and make room for your mind to think about more productive things that will help you advance the course of your purpose and move your life forward. So drop the weights. Drop the weights. If anyone has done anything hurtful against you, let it go. I'm challenging you today. Let it go. If it's too heavy and you can't let it go, ask God to help you let it go. And I promise you, by the time you let it go, you have freed up your life in a lot of ways and you'll be able to run faster on your journey. Okay? The second point that may be making you sick, hampering with your growth and keeping you down is you do not seek to follow peace in every situation. Now, I want you to take a look at your life and look at the people in your life. Are you at constant loggerheads with the people in your life? Do you always have an issue with everyone who comes in your life? Or perhaps people don't last in your life. You meet someone today, maybe 1 month from today, somehow something happens, there's an issue somewhere, and you people end up falling apart. You are always falling apart or falling out with everybody in your life. That's not very good behavior. That's not very elegant. That's not very excellent. There is something that is said about the one who chooses to follow peace with all men. Even the Bible states it very clearly. As long as it depends on you. I think that that scripture is in Romans 12, verse 18. It says, don't hit back. Discover beauty in everyone. If you've got it in you, get along with everybody. I'll read it from the KJV version. These are the words of the Bible, not me. It says, if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. There's a reason why the Bible is telling us to live peaceably with all men. You will find out the importance of living peaceably with all men when someone who you have done wrong to is in a room of opportunities where they can mention your name to speak good about you so that an opportunity can come to you. But because you've hurt that person will speak so poorly and ill of you. And before you know it, that opportunity that's supposed to come to you as a blessing didn't come to you because you are at loggerheads with the person. It's very important that you are maintaining the peace with everybody in your life as long as it depends on you. How do you make peace with everybody? Don't always insist on having your way. Be sensitive and mindful to their thoughts, their feelings, and their emotions as well. Be sensitive to their boundaries. Be sensitive to understanding them. Be patient with them. Be gentle with them. Be kind with them. If you have any qualities or personality or character that makes you fight every time with people, work on yourself. Look inwards and work on yourself and change the parts of yourself that needs to be changed so that you can have more people around you. You want more people in your corner than against you. And sometimes in life, you may not even understand how burning bridges is affecting and hampering with your growth as an individual. Until one day it dawns on you, oh my God, you look around you. You can't even phone a friend to say, please, oh, can you buy me lunch? You can't ask somebody, can you loan me 500,000? There's nobody around you that you can call when you're sick. There's nobody around you that you can call when you need help for something. You find because you've burnt all the bridges. Stop burning bridges. As long as it depends on you, live at peace with all men. Okay? Before we continue with the point, a quick reminder that the Art of Speaking course is still open and available for anyone who wants to elevate their speaking and articulate their thoughts, ideas, and feelings in a very effective manner so that their hearers understand them perfectly. So click the link in the description box down below to find out more details about the course and how you can access it as well. I tell you, it's one that you definitely need, especially if you're looking to level up in your communication. So click that link right now and get access to the course, okay? Let's get right back into the video, shall we? The next point that may be making you sick physically, spiritually, mentally, and keeping you down is not forgiving those who hurt you. This one is connected to what? The very first point I made about being or keeping malice against other people. Put down here the definition of forgiveness for us all to learn. Forgiveness is simply acknowledging the hurts done to you by someone, accepting that it happened, and intentionally choosing to move past the hurt and release every form of resentment, bitterness, or anger towards that person who has hurt you, not allowing the weight of the hurt follow you into your future, thereby freeing yourself from the burden of that hurt. And then I said here that forgiveness does not necessarily mean forgetting or excusing the hurt done to you by someone else. It is simply making the intentional decision to allow yourself move forward without letting the hurt hold you back in any way. It is giving no place in your spirit, soul, or body for the hurt done to you by someone else to fester. Forgiveness allows you to release negative energy. I said something about being malicious against someone at the beginning. It's like carrying a weight, a burden, a load. When you are carrying load that you're not supposed to carry, what do you think that will do to you? It will slow you down on your journey. Imagine you are carrying the weight of a 25-liter jerry can. Do you think you are going to move as fast as someone who has no jerry can on their head? No, you will move slowly. It will hamper with your progress. And that's what unforgiveness does. Again, like I said, it is easier said than done. But when you start to understand how these things are affecting you very negatively, you will begin to, in fact, before somebody even hurts you, you will have more than enough forgiveness for them. Forgive people, let people go. Also see not forgiving people as you putting yourself under their mercy. Yes, because the person you are not forgiving is already living, has moved on. Sometimes they don't even know they hurt you that deeply if you don't communicate it. So you are the one now there in your feelings, angry, bitter at them. Meanwhile, they've moved on with their lives. They are happy. They are living their lives like it's golden, like nothing happened. But then you are there with resentment, with bitterness, with anger, with hate, with all of these things. Who do you think is suffering the most? It's you. So when you realize the negativity you're causing yourself by not forgiving someone, you immediately tell yourself, you know what, no way. I'm not going to let this emotion of unforgiveness or hatred I have towards this person stop me from living. I release them to God. I release them to life. I will move forward. I acknowledge that this happened, but I'm not going to hold on to the hurts. I'm going to let it go. I will just keep moving forward. Remember, it doesn't necessarily mean you would forget or make excuses for them. It's just you intentionally deciding, choosing not to allow the weight of that pain cause you any more harm. That's what forgiveness is. And you need to start forgiving today, okay? Still under this point of forgiveness, I put down here that maybe, just maybe, the person you actually need to forgive is yourself. My darling, let that pain go. Let that mistake you made in the past that is hampering with your progress, sweetheart, let it go. Stop letting that mistake that was done in your past and should stay in the past stop you and prevent you from moving forward. Forgive yourself very quickly. This is one advice someone gave to me many years ago when I was literally always beating myself up for not knowing things or understanding things at an earlier stage of my life. And then the person said one thing, said, Winifred, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. And at that time, those words didn't really mean so much to me until later on when I started to learn more about forgiveness and what it does. And it made a lot of sense to me that I was actually flogging myself badly for not learning whatever it is that I didn't learn earlier on in my life. So maybe that person you need to forgive is yourself. Maybe that's where you need to start with. Forgive yourself of that hurt. Forgive yourself of that mistake. And please, keep moving forward, okay? The next thing that I put down here that might actually be hampering with your growth and making you physically, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally sick is you find fault with everything and you make excuses about everything. This is a very negative way of living. Everywhere anyone hears you talk, you are complaining about something. There is fault in the way things are going. The one that is so much common now is the fault about Nigeria. Everything is wrong with Nigeria. Yes, okay, we can all see it, but do you have to keep saying it? Do you have to keep repeating the obvious? Okay, we know, but what then are you doing about it? The same energy that you use to complain and find fault is the same energy that you can use to actually say something positive and then find solutions. Because in the problems that you face lies the solutions. So why are you using your energy in a wrong way by finding faults instead of actually looking for the solutions? And the people that keep constantly make excuses. You have a project to start, you make an excuse. I'm not good at this, I'm lazy, I'm this. You're not good at something. Why don't you get good at it? You are lazy. Why don't you overcome laziness? Find out how can I overcome laziness. Find out how you can be a better person and garner the strength that you need to do what is required of you to move forward. So you can't keep saying, you can't keep making excuses and then year in, year out, year in, year out, you are not accomplishing or achieving that thing you set your mind to accomplish. At some point, you have to look at yourself and say, okay, I mean, at some point, can I even just get up and start doing these things? It's important that you stop finding fault and making excuses about the different things in your life so that you can move forward. So my advice to you, reshape and retrain your mindset to actually look for the solution instead of focusing so much on the problem. Focusing on the problem won't solve the problem. But when you train your mind to always look for the solution in anything, you would always find the solution in it. And before you know it, if you keep accomplishing by solving a problem. You look at something, you solve it, you move to the next thing, you solve it. Before you know it, you have solved a lot of problems around you. And people now know you as a problem solver. So stop fault finding and making excuses about everything about life, okay? The next one that I put down here is you constantly worry and you are always anxious. Worrying doesn't get you results. Worrying, I put down here, is a negative energy that leaves you drained without providing a solution to the problem that's making you worry. Worrying is a negative energy. It will sap the vitality from your life. It will sap the beautiful energy you have from your life and it will leave you drained. And guess what? It won't even help you solve the problem. Why are you worrying? My dear, why are you worrying? Never give room for worry in your life. And if you find yourself expending energy on worry, my advice, rechannel that energy into something useful and productive. Always remember that you are in charge and in control of your mind. You are in charge and in control of your emotions. Don't say, Winifred, I beg. When you find yourself in a situation when you worry, tell me that you won't worry. I trained myself to stop worrying. I remember the story, I think I've shared it on this channel, about a feedback my friend and I got from a job that we did that wasn't very pleasant. She got the feedback and she started to fret. I became very unflinched. She came to meet me the next day and she was like, Winnie, did that news not affect you? That news was supposed to affect anybody on a normal day. But I said, oh, I got the feedback. I know we executed the job poorly, but I got the feedback. I wasn't going to start worrying and being anxious because that's not going to change anything. So I got the feedback, learned the lesson, and told myself, going forward, I know how to do things better. So I wasn't going to give expression to worry and anxiety. Did I feel bad about it? Yes. But was I going to now wallow in that negativity? No. I made up my mind that I was going to focus on just the positive side of things. Doesn't mean that you don't you are nonchalant or you care less. But I found out so quickly in my life that worrying does not solve any problem. So what do? I rechannel my energy and I choose rather to stay on the bright side. Look for the positivity in that thing. And I tell you something, guys, everything eventually always works out. Everything always works out in the end. Things always find a way to work out. So you find out that all that 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 days you spent on worrying did not produce anything. So why are you worrying when worry is not producing results from you? It's like you spending money and then you're not getting return on investment. That's what worrying does. You worry, worry, worry. You're expending your energy and you're not getting return on investment for it. Even the Bible says it. Be anxious for nothing. So my elegant people, be anxious for nothing, okay? The next point here that's making you sick mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally is you overthink and you overanalyze everything. Overthinking and overanalyzing is something else that takes up a lot of your time and energy and hampers with your growth. You want to do a project, or you want to think about a part, or you want to execute a project. You start thinking about every single thing. You want to analyze, you are nitpicking. Like, what that thing does is it hinders you from taking the steps you want to take because you are trying to think about the whole thing. Forgetting that, my darling, you can't control everything about life. There are certain things within your control. But you see, there's a bulk of other things that you can never control. What you think you have under control one day, tomorrow it becomes something else. Life is dynamic, it's ever changing. You think you have a grip of something today, my dear, tomorrow it just turns around. Let's use the price of diesel or fuel, for example. Today it's 2 naira. Next tomorrow it is 6 naira. Next tomorrow it becomes 14 naira. The next tomorrow it comes back to make your decision on things you can't control. And then because you are overthinking, overanalyzing, okay, this, it stops you from making the moves that you need to make. So my advice to you, if you are an overthinker or overanalyzer, manage only the things that are within your control. The ones that are not within your control, please, my dear, trust the intelligence that made this universe. And I'm talking about God. If you believe so much in God, He will guide your steps and order your steps correctly so that you're making the right decisions at the right time concerning your life. Stop overanalyzing. I'm not saying thinking is not good. I'm not saying analyzing is not good. I'm only saying overdoing them is where the problem now comes because it stops you and it slows you down from making progress. And when you don't make progress, what do? You become sick, you become sad, you become depressed because you are just stuck in one place. And that's not okay for an elegant and an excellent person. Okay? The next point that may be making you sick physically, mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually is you don't spend time every day visualizing your life. That's the biggest mistake you can ever make as a person. I filmed a video on the power of positive affirmation. And in that video, I talked about the law of creation and how you can use, there's a law and principle that you can use to create anything you want in your life. I advise that you go and watch that video later so that you can understand the process of creation. Let me just summarize the video. The process of creation is you being that thing you say you want to be. Then you start thinking it into existence. Then you start speaking it. And then you start acting it out. But most people spend a lot of their time and energy just acting. They wake up in the morning. Okay, what's the day telling us to do? Let's go to work. We go to work. We hustle, 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 come back. Hustle, 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 come back. Then we wonder, we're not making progress. We're not moving forward. Yeah, you're still the same thing. Forgetting the principle of creation. You can be anything. Oh my goodness. If you understand this thing, you can be anything you want to be in this life. If you understand this simple principle of creation. And it starts with you what? Visualizing in your mind what you want to be. Where are you right now? Where do you find yourself being? Do you even know who another thing you want to be with yourself? Or you are just okay with where you are and what you're doing? If, for example, you find yourself in a slum and you say to yourself that you want to start traveling the world and living in a suburb, you can actually accomplish it. It starts with you what? Visualizing with your mind. If you're a fashion stylist, for example, and you're functioning on this level, and you want to get to the level where you are styling up international models or international people, you can get there by simply spending 30 minutes of your day every day. The time you spend on social media, gossiping, and all of those things, spend it by yourself and visualize that life. Use your mind. Use your mind. Use your mind to think. Paint the picture. Your mind does not know the difference between what you are experiencing physically and what is just on your mind. And then the more you continue to use your mind to visualize it, it's only a matter of time. That visualization becomes your words. You start to want to become that thing you are seeing in your mind. And before you know it, it becomes your reality. It's a process, a simple principle. Stop just spending life just waking up every morning and doing. Start visualizing. I've told you so many times, I even went as far as creating a vision board. And I put down everything I want to be about my life, my spiritual life, my marital life. I looked at my whole life, dissected it, broke it down. My mental life, my friendship life, everything. And I said over 80% of the things on my vision board are starting to manifest. Because I spend time every day on that thing because this is what I want to be. Nobody's going to make me less than what I've decided that I want to be. It starts with you. So spend I'm so passionate about this topic because I want everybody to win. You can win. The only thing stopping you as putting you where you are, keeping you there is yourself. Use your mind. Kai, okay? The next thing that may be making you sick and hampering with your progress as a person is you're not taking action. You finish visualizing, you finish shaping, you finish seeing the thing you want to see. Okay, can you take the first step? Can you just even take the first step towards actualizing that thing you're seeing in your mind? If, for example, your vision is to own one of the biggest businesses in Nigeria, maybe you're a makeup artist watching or watching this video right now. My makeup artist is watching. You're a makeup artist right now, and you want to move to the next level of actually being a person who produces makeup products. You want to be the next Huda Beauty, and you are in Nigeria. Let me even stop going far. You want to be the next Beauty by AD or Tara Beauty or Zaron Cosmetics, and you're just a makeup artist who is waking up every day going to acquire his daily bread. My dear, you can use your mind and visualize it, then take the next step. Can you create your first product? Ola, I'm challenging you today. Can you start developing your formula for the lip gloss you want to start selling? Can you start developing your formula for your own foundation? Can you go and find out how you can contact those people who develop the formulas, wherever they develop it, to develop a foundation for you that resonates with you. Maybe you see people who have oily skin in Nigeria, and the foundations in Nigeria that they sell to us are matte foundations. Are oil-based foundations. And you know that an oily skin person needs what? A matte foundation. So can you develop it and solve that problem? The first step you need to just take is, okay, how do I contact or how do I find the person who will develop this formula for me? And then before you now think of the next step of actually going to produce that formula, think, how do I find the person? That's the action. That's the first step. A lot of people hold themselves back because they think that they need money to do everything. You don't need money. You can form alliances. You can form partnerships. You can go into business with someone and then have an agreement. The person gives you what they have. You bring your value. The person brings his value. You bring your value together. There's so many ways to do these things, guys. Start thinking outside the box and start taking action. Take the first step. Take the first step. You're standing in front of a skyscraper building. The skyscraper is your goal, is the achievement, is what the things you want to achieve. I'm challenging you today. Stop looking at the skyscraper. Girl, look at the first step in front of you and find out how to climb that first step first. When you've climbed that first step, then you climb the second one. Then you climb the third one. Before you know it, you will arrive at the top of that skyscraper and you ask yourself, how the hell did I get here? You'll be so amazed. So take action. The next one here is engaging in negative thinking. Your thinking actually is affected by your belief. How you think is a product of the things that you believe to be true. What do you believe to be true? If you're a negative thinker who sees the bad in everything, who looks at everything from the standpoint of problematic, this is a problem. You don't see the beauty. You don't see the excellence. You don't see the good in that thing. You're only seeing the bad, the bad, the bad, the bad. Everything you see the bad first. It means that you have a negative mindset. And your negative mindset is a product of the things you've been believing. What are you or what do you believe to be true? Change your belief if you have a negative mindset. What information have you been consuming that has filled up your mind with negativity? It's time to change it so that you can start thinking positively. Remember, as a man thinketh, so is he. Your physical being right now is as a result of what? The state of your mind. I look at somebody for 5 minutes, I can already know what's going on in their minds because they are a reflection of their minds. So you see someone prosperous, living gallant, talking abundance, it's all in their minds. You see somebody being poor, talking poor, doing poor things, it's all in their minds. So change your mindset and stop negative thinking, okay? The next one, of course, is speaking negatively. And of course, again, like I said, the process is you think, you speak, you act. Speaking negatively is also a byproduct of what? Thinking negatively. Because you can only speak the things that you are thinking in your mind. And the things that you're thinking are coming from the things you are believing. So the first thing you need to do is change your believing system or change what you're believing in, and then you will change your thinking, and then you will change your words. But if you keep speaking negative words all the time, you're so negative in your speaking, go and check what you've been believing in and check what you've been thinking. That's what you've been speaking. So it's time for you to change that because those things are hampering with your growth. You can't become more than what you think and what you say with your mouth. So if you keep saying negative things about yourself, oh, I beg, this thing is not going to work, I beg. This thing does not work for me. Nothing seems to be working for me. I'm just here stagnant. I never move forward. You keep saying it with your mind. My darling, it's because you are thinking it in your head. Change your thinking and start saying, I am making progress and I'm moving forward. Against all odds, I am making progress and I'm moving forward. Ola, my makeup artist, has something he usually puts on his WhatsApp stories all the time. Everything that I need to have a beautiful, productive day is made available to me. Like, I see that thing and I speak it out with my mouth. That's a powerful declaration. Tell me how things will not be working out for him when he needs them to work out. But imagine if he has a negative mindset and he speaks out negative things. Nothing is working. I bet the economy is hard. The economy will be hard for you. Speak it like that. It's going to be hard. Because there are people who are living in the same economy and it is not hard for us. Wow, what are we doing differently? We are speaking and thinking differently. You will never hear me say with my mouth, the economy is hard. You will never hear me say with my mouth, things are too expensive. No, things may be expensive, but I have more than enough resources to ensure that those things don't become expensive to me. I will be able to afford them anytime I require them. It's my mindset, it's my thinking. And that's what I will now say with my mouth. I will never be subject to the price of anything, no matter how much it gets. If at the time I can't afford it, it will come to me free of charge. That's my mindset. You cannot change it. If you like say, Yimu, it's been working for me. And you can simply allow that work for you as well by simply changing the way that you think. It all starts in your mind, okay? Guys, I'm so passionate about these topics. The final point that I've put down here on things that may be hampering with your growth, making you sick physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally is trying so hard to prove your point and be right. You engage in an argument, you bring out your whole veins. You bring it all because you want to prove a point that I'm right. You're fighting everybody. You're so feisty. Your voice becomes the loudest. In fact, you don't even get into a rage because you want to prove that you are right. What has that ever done for you? How much money did that deposit in your account? How much wiser did that make you that you are wise? Do you know what I have learned? My dear, you are expending energy. My dear, when I see somebody is trying to engage in an argument, you are right. You're correct. Or I'll just sit and watching you, I'll just be listening to you talk. When you're done, I agree. At the end of the day, you have your opinion, I have my opinion. It's not my responsibility to impose my opinion on you. I can share my opinion with you. But when you're trying to impose yours on me and you're trying to make it into an argument, oh, you're right. You're correct. Last, when you need to learn the lesson that I believe that you may need, when we get there, we'll revisit the situation. But for now, you are right. Preserve your energy. Save it for other things that will add value to your life. Someone wants to argue with you and ruffle you up. Not today, devil. Not today. You just keep quiet. No, don't engage in it. No need to prove you are right. I found out that it doesn't cash a check in the bank. It doesn't add more money to your bank account. It doesn't make you wiser. It doesn't make you smarter. It doesn't make you richer. It doesn't make your skin glow. Instead, it actually dampens the glow of your skin. It brings out wrinkles on your face. Makes your neck like this. I beg, tell them you are right. I tell you, the things are making you sick. Sickness is not only when you feel unwell in your physical body or when you're running the temperature or being feverish. Depression is a sickness. Sadness is a sickness. If you find yourself sad because you're not moving forward or accomplishing things, it's maybe because of one of these things. If you find you have no friends in your life and you're sad because of that, maybe you need to check how you handle people, whether you follow peace with all men. Check all these things. They are making you sick one way or another. Maybe mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Something is making you sick. Let me even tell you the truth. Worrying and anxiety can give you headache. If you didn't know, it can even cause you cancer. My dear, I beg, just look at these things, go back and see which one you need to revisit and review and see where you need to make an adjustment so that you can be free to live the beautiful, glorious, excellent life that God has so called you to live. I'll see you next time with another episode. Until then, remember to remain elegant. Take care.